What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the War Report. I'm Golden Boy, that's Inevitable, and we're bringing you all the latest that's going on in Week 6 of the Planet Side 2 Community Clash. Win, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing pretty well, man. I'm excited. We have some great matches today. So
That's right. That's right. We had the finals, as a matter of fact. This is the finals for each region, the U.S. finals as well as the EU finals. Let's actually go ahead and take a look at the teams here. For the U.S. finals, you're going to have Dasan Fall versus No Nonsense Gamers. And on the Europe side, you're going to have I&I Elite, Any Elite. It's I&I, right?
You say it. You say I&I. I say Any.
It's Any. Okay, whatever. Versus Mercenaries, they're going to be facing off against one another in the European side of things. I mean, it's awesome. I'm so excited to see this matchup. We have 4 great teams here. So I guess when we're setting up the Battleground to be on Amrish, right? So this is where we're moving forward from, I believe, Esamir was last week. So tell us a little bit about that.
Absolutely. All right, so we're on the green continent. We're on Amrish, the hilly green continent that is every driver's worst nightmare. All right, with this lane, we had 7 bases on Indar, 6 on Esamir. We're down to 5. So we have 5 bases, which means there will be a neutral base in the middle. Chimney Rock Depot starts neutral. Of course, the other 2 bases on each side belong to the corresponding team. It's 2 45-minute halves. You gain points by capping a base, and the team with the most points at the end of both halves wins the match.
Now, you mentioned about the Amrish is a driver's worst nightmare. What are some of the strategies that we're going to see implemented on Amrish for both, or I should say for all 4 teams?
Now, the interesting thing about Amrish, I say it is a driver's worst nightmare. That's usually when you're new to the continent and you're trying to figure out how to get where you're going. You don't know where you're going, you end up driving up a mountain. But of course, Amrish is open to all styles. You do have the hills there, which are good for the aircraft. They can, of course, hide behind the air, take cover there from the lock-ons. They won't get as much pressure coming their way. Same time, vehicles are still good because they can use the same cover to hide from the air. And of course, a lot of these points, a lot of the bases are buildings. So the infantry are able to get inside, get on the point, and then they're safe from the vehicles and from the air. So you can kind of see all.
So just different. You're going to see everywhere. Like, you're an infantry guy, you'll be rewarded because you're going to be able to go inside, get some action going in those bases. Vehicle play as well as airplay. It makes a lot of sense. Amrish, of course, is a great setup for our 4 teams here. They're going to be facing off against each other. And speaking of the 4 teams, let's talk about the journey that they took to get here. And let's take a look at the bracket here for the U.S. side of things. So, No Nonsense Gamers came from the top. Of course, No Nonsense Gamers, a Vanu outfit, and they have fought their way through. They fought the Republican Guard. Then they faced off against Sturm Grenadier, finding their way into the finals. And then at the bottom there, you can see Dasan Fall. Dropping Purple Smoke was the first, victim in their path to victory. Then Future Crew, a team that I'm very familiar with, another Vanu outfit. And then Dasan Fall finds their way to the finals to face off against No Nonsense Gamers. Should be a good one. 2 Vanu outfits, a little mirror match.
It is. You'll have Dasan Fall playing as the new conglomerate in the first half, and then No Nonsense Gamers TR in the second half. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. Both Matherson outfits fighting for that Matherson glory.
Yeah, Matherson glory. Well, I mean, I guess it means that Matherson is Matherson the best out. I don't know. We're not going to go there. That could cause a problem in the internet. I don't know if we want to be those guys.
I don't know, but I do know that to win the first season of the Community Clash, you do have to have an M starting the name of your server. So
that's right, Matherson and Miller. So, and another thing to point out here as well. Actually, Dasan Fall played 2 mirror matches on their way to the final. So they've been playing mirror matches nonstop. But take a look at the bracket again. Dropping Purple Smoke, Vanu, mirror match. Future Crew, mirror match. Now No Nonsense Gamers, mirror match as well. NNG. So interesting there. I mean,
that's a great point. And they do have a lot of practice on their alts. They play New Conglomerate, and that is something they spend a lot of time practicing. Yeah,
that's something that certainly could benefit them here in the finals. So now it is time to talk about the EU side of things because, we spent a lot of time talking about the Dasan Fall, but let's go to the EU side. Here we do not have a mirror match. It is a battle as old as time itself. We have Mercenaries repping the NC, the new conglomerate, and then we have the TR, Terran Republic, as Any Elite. Should be good. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, this is a very, much anticipated matchup. 2 Miller teams, they know each other very well. TR versus NC. Oh boy, this is so exciting. Of course, you saw Mercenaries kind of rolling through the teams coming in, knocking out the Foundation and Rebel Rifles with a pretty wide, big score gap there. In the Elite, however, facing off against Red October, and then the Jesters had much closer matches. So it's at the one hand, Mercenaries almost looks like they might be the stronger team because they've had such an easy time of it, but then you don't also know the level of play for all those matches, so you don't know how they're going to stack up when Mercenaries face off against any Elite.
Makes a lot of sense there, but if you look at any Elite there, their last matchup was against NC, and they ended up winning that one. So, I mean, they have that experience at that time playing against them. And, of course, if you play PlanetSide, you're more than likely going to run against NC or some other faction. So you know how a lot of these teams will more than likely approach a situation. So, speaking of the matches now and who's setting up who, on the U.S. side, Dasan Fall, NNG, who do you think takes the W and goes away the U.S. champions?
That's a tough one because on the one side you have the outfit that's always going to do something from somewhere that someone didn't see coming. That's how I think of Dasanfall. They kind of do something, it's like that one matchup. They had pulled a Sunday from the base behind the base they were attacking and brought it in the back door. These tactics that you don't necessarily expect. And NG, same time, they don't take nonsense from anyone.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, let's not pun it. You know what I mean? They take no nonsense. Just messing with you, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So I mean, I actually think NNG is. I have a lot of faith in NNG, man. I don't know. It's just me. I feel like, they're no nonsense. They're gonna make magic happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. I think Dasanfall going to is a favorite probably.
Okay.
Just from looking at it, but NNG. I mean, there were polls going into it too, and
there were.
Yeah, I think NNG was the favorite, the fan favorite going into it.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going for the fan favorite here.
It's gonna be it could go either way, very close.
And then on the EU side, who do you think is going to take this one?
Okay, well you've got the Wall of Steel, as they're known, Smoking Maxes, Mercenaries, versus the Innie Elite, who actually, if you don't know if you know this, but they're from an alternate dimension that they can use portals. That's actually what Innie is for. We finally figured that out after all these weeks.
After all these weeks, it has now been learned. That's hilarious.
Yeah. But this is also another, very close matchup. Going into this, I'm like, you could flip a coin and go either way. The question really is going to be, I mean, Mercenaries looked very strong moving base to base. They had everything thought out. In the Elite, kind of struggled a little bit at points, but they always got the job done, and they were up against some tough competition. So, it's not easy to say one way or the other which one.
All right, well, it's going to be a toss-up there in the European side, but for those of you guys at home who are interested in what's going on, you may not know. You're like, oh, man, this is cool. I play PlanetSide. I didn't know they were hosting tournaments for it. Well, of course, this was all done by the PlanetSide 2 community, hence the name, the PS2 Community Clash. Where can they find information on this, bro?
All right, so they've got a great website at ps2comclash.com. It's got all the info, brackets, teams, all the information you need about this. Go check that out. And to get in on the action, go to twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 for the North American side and twitch.tv/PlanetSide2 Europe for the European side of things. You can get the live streams as well as the full-length VODs.
Nice stuff. So now it is time to take a look at the highlights of the U.S. finals between No Nonsense Gamers as well as the boys in Dasanfall. So, Will, what are we going to see here? What going into this matchup, what are some of the things that the viewers at home should look out for?
All right, there's a few things. One, of course, we talked about the terrain on Amerish. Now, there's a lot of hills, so we got to see which team can make better use of that. It's really something you can use to your advantage, and if you don't incorporate it into your game plan, it can hurt you. So you got to look at the terrain, and you also have to look at your compositions. How are you using your 3 different phases? You have infantry, you have vehicles, and then you have the aircraft. So are you switching between the 3? Do you have a good balance? Are you, keeping the enemy air off of your back so your infantry can get into the point? You have to keep a good balance there. So between that, the terrain, and then, of course, the coordination of your actual units. Are they attacking together? Are they attacking from multiple angles? Or are you all coming in the same angle? So, it's definitely something you want to do is use as many angles as you can.
Yeah, it's all about strategy management in this case and making sure that you're covering all the holes, right? Which is super important. All right, guys, with that said, let's not waste any more time. Let's hop into the U.S. Finals. It is time for No Nonsense Gamers versus Dasanfall. Enjoy.
Make no sense in this case since we are doing neutral base. A couple ESS following in. As we see first half, we have NNG playing BS in the first half. As you heard before, DA is playing C. They're seeing drops from both teams on the point. CNNG or DA still a little bit behind NNG if getting that drop, so DA did get first dibs on capping that point, but the drop is going to happen very shortly for DA. We are going to see a firefight ensue. So what do you think of these two teams, Percy? Looking forward to watching this bloodbath?
Oh yeah, we've seen both of these teams do a very strong fights on both of the contents previously, and we've seen this fight with the mercenaries previously, and this map has been exciting. We have lots of open roads. Well, the main road is open. You have all these hills and terrains and lots of trees. It's going to be quite interesting, and both of them are really known for the air fighting, and we're seeing quite an air fight ensue at the moment.
Absolutely. So I was dead wrong on not seeing ESFs. I guess they were just lagging behind a little bit. You're seeing those Reavers just tear apart the sides. They won't see a handful of sides left. Reavers are ripping them up. So DA's air is making a very valid push, and their lib is blown out of the sky. Oh my goodness! Must have crashed into something else. It looks like a little bit of NNG air is getting mopped up now by DA, and DA is going to display air predominance at least at the beginning of this match. It should be really interesting to see if that prevails for them for the remainder of it, because both teams are known to have great pilots. We haven't seen much in the way of the base fighting just yet, so no one's on point just yet. There you go, guys. You see it on a large screen. They're going to try to push them out with ground, realizing that that is the best way to kind of secure this base, since that point is so vulnerable to ground. It is just this base is a great armor fight, and it's very seldom we saw very much in the way of armor fights in the last two lanes. So I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Well, I don't know, we saw some interesting fights with ground last time, and I don't know if they were trying to force that or what, but we saw some like really intense tank versus tank battles.
We've seen the lightnings of NNG kind of cleaning up what is left of DA. The Mag Rider's still back there. DA has been pushed effectively off the road of Chimney Rock, and I'm wondering if NNG is going to be able to get their ground forces in on that point before they finish the cap on DA's favor. That vehicle looked like it just flipped 360 and exploded upside down. That's a interesting graphical bug, or graphical anomaly.
I saw a Flash run straight into that whole lightning column and just get totally obliterated.
My goodness. So NNG definitely displays ground dominance. They've cleaned out what was left of the DA ground. DA switching back to air though. You see the great old battle gal there, their staple battle gal that DA is so well known for, and they're moving in. They're able to keep NNG kind of off the base a little bit by using that galaxy.
They're also utilizing that ridge with a bunch of infantry, but they've slowly been pushed forward.
They have a very limited amount of time left on this, though. They're going to have to move if they want to get this back before. So we reversed. So we rolled this backwards, and 30 seconds left now in DA cap time. NNG doesn't look like they have the ground forces to get up on that point yet, so this might be 2 points already on the board for DA. 20 seconds left, and I'm not seeing a massed NNG force yet moving in. They're trying to use lightnings to fire through the door, but that's not going to cap the point, guys. Come on.
They need to get some infantry in here, and quickly. What we've seen a lot of the times is huge gal drops that are just quickly dropping people onto the A point, just at least to secure the point.
One Reaver that is left is kind of harassing these mags that are on the road, and they're getting pushed back slowly by DA's armor. So we're kind of seeing a fight in between Skylands Battery and Chimney Rock. This is they're pushing NNG back on their heels a little bit with that battle gal that DA is so well known for.
DA just did a drop, I believe.
Absolutely right, and Skylands Battery is open at the roof, as we've kind of seen before. It's a great approach to this. Instead of trying to move in on armor, you can drop right on top of that point with that gal. Alright, so it looks like DA was able to take it already and has been counting down for a little, just at a minute now. 2 minutes 40 seconds left for Skylands Battery cap. DA is showing some very good play. Some very, very good play tonight. They've been very consistent. They made a little bit steady push into Chimney Rock. We're able to take that. Now they're moving on to Skylands Battery, and it looks like they've done a pretty good job of locking that down as well from the rooftops.
Yeah, and we in the preseason Skylands, we were always saying that top ground was insane. The amount of, I think we had one time we had a Max that somehow got up top there. I believe maybe he got dropped up there, and he was just like holding the fort down on top of those people, bombarding everybody. So this is going to be an interesting fight right here. We have the spawn point that's right next to the A point as well.
Yeah, it was still the Gal kind of swiping over. They haven't cleaned out the DA Gal, and it's getting consistent drops. I see at least a dozen of DA sitting on this rooftop. We are seeing Energy where they're able to get a couple softies into the A point. DA was cleaning them back out. It is under contention at the moment, but DA does have air supremacy still, so it is kind of in their favor at the moment in this base until Energy cleans out their air.
There's some contention going on at the A point, but like you said, if DA consistently keeps and maintains that air support, this can really go in their favor, as well as if they pull in some spawns. Looks like they're putting down some spawn beacons.
So they're keeping in mind that if Energy does get ground or try to make an counter or anti-air, that they're able to clean that up as well. And the DA air has been, that Gal hasn't gone down yet. It's been harassed, but it hasn't gone down, and it's that has been a staple of DA's strategy, as you can tell. Energy's able to keep them off the point somewhat, but DA has a consistent spawn that they're able to harass NNG with, and it's putting NNG at a very defensive position, which is not what you want to be at.
Something I'm also seeing from NNG is that if you watch these ants from this distance continually move into the base, they are just moving in one at a time, two at a time, three at a time. They need to make a massive push together and kind of clear out the top points of this. Maybe bring in some light assault, put down some infantry mines in the area, and kind of clear out the top and the infantry area by the A point, and then bring in some more tanks and air. They're trying with their sights, but they're consistently getting pushed back.
The poor scythe almost ejected in that roof. NNG has lost the point again, and DA is moving out a little bit more. You see some scat maxes moving all around the base now. Instead of just light assaults, they're moving with more heavy infantry and maxes to kind of suppress those lanes coming from the spawn point from NNG roof. You see their maxes facing off one-on-one right outside the spawn point, or outside the cap point. 30 seconds left. NNG's going to have to make a move if they want to keep this base, and they don't want to go to 4-0. 4-0 point loss. That's definitely not a place you want to be at 25 minutes in. 25 minutes left, I should say, in the half. This is going really smoothly for DA. I expected, I guess, more back and forth to a certain extent. What about you, the person?
Oh, for sure. I was expecting NNG to bring full force in, and it looks like they're dropping some spawn beacons down, making a massive push for A, which is exactly what they need to do. With this close, they're so close. I don't know if they're going to be able to resecure this. Point is being contested.
Oh my goodness, that was a great play by NNG. They broke in and they just took that point right back. They wiped off DA off the point. They made a massive infantry push, and it's going back in NNG favor now. DA still has air though. You see that Reaver kind of swiping by, and I'm just waiting for that Gal to come back and get a drop. Oh, they gotta get Max back on. They cleaned out the one or two NNG that were there. NNG still has more people on this point though. 50 seconds left for recap, or 3 minutes 50 seconds left for recap for NNG. You still see DA people on the ground, but they're getting cleaned out by NNG as we speak. You gotta love those engineer turrets that can fire from miles away and snipe people off. Yeah, somebody from DA is doing great work with that sniper. He's even got a squad beacon up sitting there just in case he gets picked off by a tank or a sniper. That's good play by somebody on DA's side who's thinking. You see NNG using that lib to their advantage. And they're kind of cleaning up what is left of some of the DA ground forces, and DA brings a Reaper and wipes it out immediately. You see ground just getting, you see air just being pulverized one after another on this shot. And both teams are evenly matched in the air now. Instead of DA having air supremacy as they had early on in the half, they're now at an even match with NNG, and you see it really changing. They're not able to get constant drops in their Gals they were earlier in the half. I am seeing drops coming down, but I don't see a Gal just yet. Assuming that's
there
the Gal up high. Sure enough, there you go. He must have flying over and got a couple people off. There we go. We're seeing about 11 minutes left in the half. 11 minutes 5 seconds left in the half, and still 2 points on the board for DA. His base is still under contention, but NNG was able to hold it for the last minute 30 seconds or so. So they're able to put it back in their court. Yeah, they're almost back on the point where Skyline's battery is going to be in their favor. Yep, sure enough, it's full and capped. You see NNG moving in with air to try to get a couple drops. As you said, they have an infiltrator on point. You see DA moving a large armor column back to Skyline's battery to try to get that ground supremacy to lock them down.
This is what I'm talking about. That's the strategy that they've been going with. They've been, gearing up, getting all their armor ready to go, and then they push forward with the base.
Absolutely. So they have a Vanguard and a couple Lightnings locking down the road here coming up to Skylands battery. They don't have people on the point just yet, but I'm wondering if they realize there is NNG dropping behind them at Chimney Rock. This is the worst part. You don't want to get back at, but obviously you want to really commit to that push to get Skyline's battery if you want to get those extra points. And you do see a Sunny that's in place for DA. They do have a constant spawn now on top of Tomas Skyline's battery, and it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, DA can definitely take this. NNG was unable to get a cap on the A point over at Chimney, so it's not contested. This is going to be perfect for DA. They just made a massive push. They need to surround that and get infantry on the point. But NNG's bringing in their own armor column. Looks like we're seeing quite a few Mag Riders. It's under.
So NNG completely had a counter push. They realized DA had armor on the ground. They cleaned them out with their own Sunny and a handful of Mag Riders. I don't think DA realized what was going to happen there, but they do have people on the point now, so they have that little bit of buffer as we talked about before. If they can hold the point, every second they have that point in their hands is a second they cannot move on to Chimney Rock.
4-0 is recoverable, but like you said, it's really difficult to come back from a 4-0 in round 1.
See DA kind of resin their guys back up. I'm not seeing NNG actually making a concerted ground push against these guys. I'm wondering if they're mounting up for that. There you go. See some crossfire coming in from some Mac DA, or from NNG, apologize. Squad beacons cleaned out, and you see there are a couple softies still left on DA side. NNG is trying to clean them up. Get those reses off. They are able to bring under contention. I think they're going to be able to hold this long enough where we're only going to see 2 on the board, but DA is giving them one hell of a fight to keep this point, dropping a couple guys here and there from the top of that roof. 28 seconds left on the clock, and we are not going to see a cap for this, so we are going to go into the halftime with 2-0 on the board in DA's favor. This is one hell of a good fight. They're going for hacks immediately on the vehicle terms. DA has the hacks on the vehicle terms immediately. They're going to try to pull out Sunnies, I'm assuming. They don't have anybody on the point yet. The point is still uncontested from both teams.
And this is a perfect move for them. They've been 2 times now. This is their second round, being at that base, being the first one there, which is perfect. Pulling out the vehicles is a fantastic thing for them. That's going to allow them to kind of set up a defense, get the surrounding area set up, and kind of wait up and be ready for NNG.
Absolutely. Looks like both teams are not even bothering at the point. They're just fighting it out in the air. This is a great air battle going between Sice, Reavers, and Skyguards on the ground as well. You see a bunch of Prowlers coming. It looks like NNG is trying to prioritize ground heavily. My goodness, that's crazy. Did you expect them to pull this many Prowlers to begin with?
They have 6 Lightnings, I believe, and 4 Prowlers and 2 Thunders.
My goodness. I do see some ground-to-air fire going on, but I'm not seeing a great deal of it. I'm wondering what their anti-air option is going to be, knowing that DA is going to pull heavy air as they normally do. I do see a little bit of anti-air from some Sky Guards, but there's so much NNG ground, my goodness. And DA is doing their best to kind of push across that bridge, but NNG is locking up with Prowlers. They even come up behind them to swing with some Lightnings. They're using a bunch of air to try to clear out what is left of the NNG armor, and DA is doing a great job. But that air supremacy from that lib is great. Great gunner on that lib for DA. It's somewhat of a ground push. They do have a Sunder sitting out a little bit to the north that NNG was not cleared out, but it's pretty far off. They do have ground support for it with the Mag Rider. The Sunder that is there that's spawning in for DA is solid. They're not really being harassed, but they're not able to get inside the point now because NNG is locking down all the doors coming from the north. There we go, guys. Got a good view now. You're seeing NNG shooting down from the one. So DA's not really moving around to the back door. The one door you see them approaching from on the cam now is the door that they're continuing to pull from. They're not surrounding the outside. And NNG is not really having a really tough time of suppressing when they come in.
Yes, Zoran actually ended up being the cameraman indoors. Hamba's got the outdoors. We have view from both sides. They're trying to make a massive push outside here. I think they need to wait until they have their group, because we've consistently been seeing from both of these crews is just they just keep trickling in. Oh, the anti-infantry mines.
Alrighty, 29 minutes left in the half, and we are seeing contention back and forth on Haoka Chemical Lab. NNG is not able to make a push back up to of the Chimney Rock. They have 3 minutes 50 seconds left, tapping down in DA favor now. Again, we're talking about a buffer. We're repeating what we saw last half. We're seeing DA using their offense as their defense, using buffers on the defensive points of it.
We have view from both sides. They're trying to make a massive push outside here. I think they need to wait until they have their group, because we've consistently been seeing from both of these crews is just they just keep trickling in. Oh! The anti-infantry mines.
Alrighty, 29 minutes left in the half, and we are seeing contention back and forth on Hayoka Chemical Lab. Energy is not able to make a push back up to the Chimney Rock. They have 3 minutes 50 seconds left, tapping down in DA favor now. Again, we're talking about a buffer. We're repeating what we saw last half. We're seeing DA using their offense as their defense, using buffers on the defensive points of it. And I don't know if Energy doesn't know where it's at, or if they're just trying to conserve their people back on the points so that they can make a push, either Ghost or otherwise, onto Chimney Rock.
Oh my gosh, this infantry play going back and forth. I watched the Slight Assault was trying to take out this Max with C4 and completely missed it. It was a sad moment.
All right, 52 seconds left on the base recap. You have 25 minutes left in the half. 4-0 in DA favor, and that spawn. Oh, Energy knows the spawn point's there. They're slowly pushing across that bridge. Should be very interesting. That is true for those of you who haven't played on Hayoka Chemical Lab before. There is a tunnel going very close from the stairway outside of the spawn room into an exit right next to the point itself. They're going to have to make a quick move, though. It's only 20-30 seconds left on this. Rocket primaries flying everywhere. Heavy's trying to come in to clear out these maxes, but they can't do it. DA still, those maxes just reign supreme over that last push.
Okay, it looks like NNG is going to make a huge push. All of their prowlers are making a forward push onto the base.
Come on, NNG. I'm not seeing an airdrop from DA yet, but I would not be surprised if we see a gal draw. Oh, here we go.
All right, they got a couple Sunderers down. They're able to get some infantry pushing on this base.
Gal is coming in for DA, sitting over at Hayoka Chemical Lab. They're loading up now. Wonder if they're going to battle Gal this, or they're actually going to use this as a drop point, because they're getting slammed by Skyguards.
I just saw a Skyguard fall into the moat.
This is going to be a rough fight for NNG to get back in here, even if they get this place surrounded with armor. DA seems like they're playing defensive. I think maybe they're just content with the fact that they pushed all the way up to Hayoka Chemical Lab, and they're not going to try to move into the tech plant. I'm not sure. NNG is making a ground push, though. But oddly enough, they actually have a spawn. They actually have a Sunder at the exact same location that DA had one, and they have a ton of maxes coming in. They're going to overwhelm DA if DA doesn't get a lot of reinforcements up there very soon.
And we've seen DA hold bases like this in the past, and it's been wonderful. They know exactly where the people spawn. They're holding covering all of those choke points, as well as that harasser play that we saw in the past was fantastic. They had always had engineers repairing it as well, so it was able to just continually bombard any enemies that were on that A point or near it.
DA already has a minute 30 counted down on this, or just around that. And I'm not. Oh, here it comes. Here comes the NNG push. Come on, baby. Max ball.
Oh!
That harasser is cleaning up.
Oh my
2 harassers.
The harasser murders, just like as soon as they're flying up in the sky, just murdered by harasser. That's the worst fate.
My goodness. If they keep this up, it's a minute left. It's a minute left for this half. 7 minutes 30 seconds left in the half. They have all the opportunity now. If they keep this tech plant in their control, they're going to lock out this half and finish this game. That would be ridiculous. That would put 5 more points on the board. That'd be an 11-0. If they get this locked down, they have just 30 seconds left. It's not unconscionable that might happen.
Yeah, I think that this could be it. They could win. But NNG is trying to make a push towards the A point. They have at least 4 infantry, a max, but they're not making a push. Do they realize there's 15 seconds left?
I don't know what's going on. I'm wondering if this is just their...
The max and the 4 infantry got completely wiped. They have a couple of more guys that are trying to come back to resecure, but DA has a full, at least half a squad, if not more, already on the A point again. It's theirs. Wow.
And that is the end of the half, guys. Facility is lost with 6 minutes left in the half. 6 minutes 30 seconds left in the half. Seeing a lot of good games on the chat. I like to see the sportsmanship. It's good. That is 11. 6-0, 4-5, yeah. 11-0.
Yeah.
11-0.
That means Das Anfall will be going against Mercenaries in the World Finals for PlanetSide 2 Community Clash Season 1.
All right, and there you have it, the conclusion of the U.S. Finals. Will, what a game.
I know, right? You have to give it to Das Anfall there, going 11-0 over No Nonsense Gamers. But I tell you, No Nonsense Gamers put up quite a fight. Quite a few moments where they were just kind of like a second too late getting to the point. You know, they got to the one point just as it capped, and then they get to the next point as the other base is being flipped. Kind of just a second too late. Das Anfall there doing a really good job of a couple things. They took control of the air early on, you know, and were able to use that to their advantage. They also used their terrain to their advantage, pulling off some nice flanks, putting infantry up on the hills, you know, shooting down, catching No Nonsense Gamers in the flank. And then, of course, they also used a good coordinated style between mixing in armor and the air and the infantry, using all 3 phases of the game to get the job done, and just, you know, putting through a solid effort for the whole 90 minutes.
And you also made note before we took a look at the game that, you know, you gotta look out for, you know, that kind of like pincer, that, you know, just swarming the base, really just watching all the angles. Das Anfall did that expertly. And they certainly deserve the victory. You know, they're the U.S. champions. I mean, congratulations to Das Anfall. What a great matchup. But of course, a big thank you to all the teams who participated from all the way from round 1 all the way to the final for the PlanetSide 2 Community Clash on the U.S. side. It really was a joy to keep track of, you know, throughout these past few weeks. But now we move on to the European side of things where, and you said this before, it's a coin flip either way between these 2 squads.
It is. These are really, really strong outfits, and they know each other, so they have a lot of practice going up against one another. Now, Mercenaries usually favors what they call the Wall of Steel or Smoke and Maxes. These guys use, it's not necessarily called a Max Crash, but it's a Max-style infantry set where you have Max with their support units, engineers, and medics. Of course, you mix in the odd infiltrator and heavy. Really strong ground presence. Their air isn't too shabby either, so we have to see how that goes into this against, you know, any elite here, because any, of course, went up against some strong air in the past and was able to prevail. And any also is known for a strong ground presence. So the question is, you know, who's stronger on the ground, who's stronger in the air, who can keep the other opponent on the back foot and come away with the win.
What's ironic about this is, you know, it's a football term, right? Like American football term, any given Sunday, right? Whoever shows up any given Sunday can win. It's just kind of ironic that they're, you know, this is the European side that we're talking about here, and they have a different kind of football than we do, you know. But this is the instance. Who is going to show up in the EU finals of the PlanetSide 2 Community Clash? Will it be any elite, or of course, will it be the boys and Mercenaries? Well, we're going to find out right now.
I think he's got a hard time here, and I'm not quite sure this is what he wanted to do, so let's go to the air battle.
Yeah, and actually, the Indy Galaxy was the first to encounter the MCY air, but they smartly pulled back and waited for the rest of the air to support them. So they're not taking any unneeded chances here.
Yeah, and immediately you can tell that these outfits have a lot of respect for each other. Like in the air, both air teams are keeping to themselves. They're staying over the front lines, and they're not really moving out unless they have friends. Oh, and the first TR Mosquito goes down. But a Reaver is burning and crashing into the ground, with his pilot falling to his death. Now at the same time, what's happening at Chimney Rock Depot? Chimney Rock Depot actually taken by the NC right now, but interesting fact here, this is a 1-point base that takes 4 minutes to capture. So the first 2 minutes are actually, since it's a neutral base, it doesn't really matter who has the point at this part, because you're just counting down from the VS. When it gets really interesting is once we reach that fabled 2-minute mark, where it turns to either NC and TR. So I think INI at this point might actually hold back a little, because most of the air right now above the base is MCY. And they're only gonna bring in their full force when the 2-minute timer is reached.
Yeah, interestingly enough, northeast of the northeast of Chimney Rock, actually, Innie opted to pull about three prowlers and a few sky guards. So right away, there's a huge difference in how they approach the start.
Yep. And I feel that right now MCY has the air superiority because I can only see 1 Innie Liberator, 2 Mosquitoes, and a Galaxy. And sadly, Bravo 6, who was set to do something really cool for MCY, he didn't seem to be able to pull off his objective at Teomka Chemical Point. Are they the fabled Dual Furies? No, Fury Bulldog Sundras taking out the MCY Sundra here, which is Dual Fury though, I think. No, it's Fury and... was that, a Walker? That was a Walker, actually. Oh, Innie Sundra, first Sundra goes down, second Sundra in flames, and gets taken down. MCY strong on the defense here.
Yeah, MCY reacted very appropriately. I mean, as soon as you saw all that armor push up to the point, you had a bunch of Tank Buster Liberators coming down and just chewing them up.
Yeah. Interesting thing right now, Innie actually has 2 Maxes in the capture point room, and the capture point is being flipped for NC because they don't have a normal soldier. And right now those 2 Maxes are being taken out by MCY's cleanup squad. Yep, and they're down.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen it, but northeast, like I was saying earlier, they have about six vehicles just poised to attack the point, but I'm not exactly sure what they're doing there. But northeast, like I was saying earlier, they have about six vehicles just poised to attack the point, but I'm not exactly sure what they're doing there.
Well, they have 3 Sky Guards next to 1 or 2 Prowlers, and I feel that they're trying to set up the Prowlers in such a way as to, I don't know, shell the capture point or the spawn rooms rather. Because if I set my camera down here and I zoom in a little bit, I can see the spawn rooms. I'm just not sure how much that's going to help them.
Right, and then not only that, but the point's actually protected by that little cup of rocks.
Yep. But they don't care because they just send a Prowler in right there, while Innie also has a an Infiltrator on top of the capture building putting down motion sensors. Prowler gets immediately blown up. Innie is dropping in with from their spawn beacon, and we're going in for the first big infantry fight around the point. But MCY's got those maxes, and Innie can't bring any in. And Chimney Rock goes to the Mercenaries. The first 2 points go to Mercenaries, 2-0 for MCY. But
yeah, I'm really curious about that Innie start. It seems really odd. It's almost like they were playing passive on purpose. I'm not sure what was going on there.
3 minutes.
And the pop just skyrocketed at Hyoka Chemical, so MCY had a heavy rotation. They're being really, really aggressive right now.
Yeah, they need to be. I mean, they just want these bases, right? And they have pretty much half of Alpha Squad and some other people inside the base. And I really wish that I had night vision cam right now. Because I think that right now, Innie has massively spawned on Hyoka Chemical, and they're coming in and they want to secure the point. Now, can they get through the smoke? We don't know. I see MCY with a lot of heavies and quite a few engineers. Not all that many medics, actually, which I'm a bit weirded out by. Because why would you pull that many engineers if you only have a spawn beacon so you can't actually bring in maxes? Would have expected more medics there, honestly.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of odd stuff on this match. I mean, Innie Elite, for some reason, is still sticking to their armor column. Like they're rotating back to Hyoka Chemical, but what are they gonna do? I mean, there's people on point, and you can't shoot through walls, you know?
No, you can't. And at the same time, MCY is bringing in a Vanguard, has a Sundra deployed to the northeast, and is bringing in their Reaver too. But it seems actually that Innie has managed to get close to the point enough to flip it. So it did turn neutral, but MCY kinda defending the, interestingly defending the upper area of the base because Innie has to go from the spawn room over that bridge. But I guess they're taking the other approach now from the ground into the actual capture point room. And again, MCY still holding strong here with just 1 squad. So now the question is, where is Innie's infantry? Oh, here they come, just as I asked for that. Taking out all opposition on the ground floor. Moving in on the point while MCY is busy at the top room there.
Yeah, and there's a lot of strange choices. I mean, MCY actually is pretty much all heavies on point. They have very few support classes, so I mean, once Innie comes in, they could just whittle them down over time. But they're still losing, what, like 3 or 4 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, they're rushing in for the top room now after clearing it. There's only 2 MCYs left in the base. Not a full push yet, though. They're not overcommitting. And now they're going. Now they're going. Here come the Maxes. 3 maxes going in. 1 max going straight for the point. And MCY rushes the point and drives Inni back.
Yeah, and he's taking a huge risk here because they're not committing as many to this defense as they can. They have 4 or 5 people at Chimney Rock, maybe hoping that they could recapture Heyoka Chemical. For some reason, Inni still has 6 or 7 people committed to armor. I really don't know what's going on. It seems a really odd choice, especially at the stage of the game with 1.5 minutes left for this base to be capped.
Inni now actually doing something interesting. They've got a Galaxy Park to the northeast, and they actually just had 1 or 2 people spawn on there, so I thought that they would use that as a pincer movement. But it seems they're not actually doing that. So MCY defended them again. Here comes a Lightning for a Skyguard Lightning, actually, for Inni. And another push across that big room there. Not sure if that's the room you really want to go in. There's only 2 entrances there. That's a meat grinder for NC Maxes, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, they're chewing up those Inni like nothing, man.
Yeah. Here comes Inni with 1 max. Hero Max, we're gonna follow you. Pounder Max, obviously. We've seen last week how strong TR Pounder Maxes are, especially against taking out upper Maxes.
You know, truth be told, I almost want to say this isn't the Inni that we've been seeing for the past few weeks. It almost seems like a whole different outfit.
It really does. I mean, they still show, you know, like cohesiveness. They attack in big groups, and they do know what they're doing, but this isn't the fighting force on the ground that we've been led to believe it is. Very, very weirded out here right now. I mean, they are taking down MCY very, very well right now, though. I like how that Pounder Max is pretty much exclusively focused. Punches out an Infiltrator, as I say.
Yeah, just beautiful punch.
Is exclusively focusing on taking out other Maxes. And Inni does manage to resecure the point with very, very few seconds remaining before MCY would have captured the base. Beautiful capture there. But now they have to hold it for another 3.5 minutes.
Exactly. I was about to say, yes, they recapture the base, but they're far from an ideal situation here. I don't think they're very comfortable with where they're at right now at all. But it's like the old military axiom, you know what I mean? Like your first plan of action, once you actually, you know, reach into conflict, doesn't survive. And for some reason, Inni doesn't learn from that. They're still sticking to their armor. They're still doing some really, really odd decisions here.
Yeah.
They're really hamstringing themselves.
At the same time, I haven't really seen a lot of air from Inni right now. We've got 2 Liberators and a Reaver for MCY just kind of hovering over Heyoka Chemical.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing to note about that initial air battle is it seemed to me that Inni willingly gave up the air to be able to pull more armor. Because a lot of their Mosquitoes dropped at Heyoka Chemical to pull armor.
Interesting.
And they're even pulling more Skyguards now.
They are, yeah, which is very, very weird. I mean, we did talk about how the Ambush lane, and we've even seen a Burster Max. We did talk about how the Ambush lane, of course, has better hiding spots and so on for your AA. But then again, having 3 Skyguards in the middle of the road is not really what I would call a hiding spot. And again, they are Skyguards, they only have a certain range. And MCY doesn't really care about them that much because they're just landing their Reavers on top of Heyoka Chemical, blowing up Inni's Sundra there.
Yep, but while that's happening, Inni has about 5 people on the 8 point at Chimney Rock Depot, and they have a motion sensor up, so they're ready to defend this place.
Well, they better, because MCY just noticed that, and they're landing their Reavers, and they're going in.
Now, unfortunately for Inni Elite, the 5 people I just noticed are all infiltrators.
They're all this is exactly. Have you seen that video on the Reddit where all those infiltrators uncloak? This is pretty much what's happening right now. We have 5 infiltrators sitting on the capture point, and whoever comes in there is gonna get shot. Oh, here comes a flashbang though, and I bet they're gonna throw an EMP. Yep, here comes the EMP taking care of the stealth and all the shields. MCY going in, losing those 2 people.
Yeah, and MCY is, I mean, it's awesome to watch because they're not just pushing from one doorway, they're pushing from multiple angles.
Oh, we've got stalked, but MCY pushed in, taking down the last Inni infiltrator. Very, very interesting tactic they had going there, I must say. But MCY just immediately uses EMP grenades to completely flush them out of that tactic. And they're also putting, by the way, if you see that MCY has, like, they've have a lot of things figured out. I mean, Inni, of course, does exactly the same thing, but now here comes the lightning for Inni. Is he actually going to drive on the anti-vehicle? No, he actually jumps out. Oh, really close. And Inni is going for point A yet again. And MCY is taken aback by that, I think, because they're actually very split up. They've got had a few people at their spawn rooms, and they're just now coming in Ini immediately takes the capture point. Lightning does get blown up by tank mines, thank you very much. And we've got Ini on the point again, and this time no infiltrator shenanigans. We've got two medics, lots of heavies, and another infiltrator. So let's see how MCY counters that.
It's a small push from MTY. I think they're just kind of trying to feel out and do a little bit of damage.
Just like 3 people from 3 different sides, but they are taking out some Ini people, so that's always good, because they, of course, MCY have the advantage as the defender. And if they do manage to take out those medics, then you know that was a good push that helps them.
Yeah, and actually, aside from actually it's Alpha Squad at Chimney Rock Depot. Aside from that Alpha Squad, Ini Elite still has a lot of people committed to the Heyoka Chemical Hex. I mean, they're finally coming over with armored Skyguards, Prowlers. Yeah. I see a Flash, but they still have multiple people, so they're kind of taking their time here. It's a little more methodical than I'm used to seeing from Ini.
And MCY is now gearing up for the push to take the point. Bringing in 1 max, and they're like just pulling all their guys together. You can see it on the mini-map there, and they're bringing in overwhelming numbers against Ini, and here we go.
Yeah, here you go.
Going in.
Would you call it the steel wall? Well, this is the steel fist.
Though, right now, I would just say they're taking steel bricks and throwing them at people's heads. Then again, Ini has the heavies and everything, but it's so hard to defend, you know. I mean, mercenaries, of course, have all the specialty grenades. They're throwing in EMP grenades, which you just can't properly hide from. They're throwing in flashbangs and smoke. It is very, very hard for Ini to defend against that.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with you never really want to defend a point from inside the point because you're susceptible to grenades. Yeah. But it's very difficult to actually get crossfire set up out here because of all the rocks. You can get flanked easily.
Mercenaries actually unable to just run in right now, being held back really, really well by INI. Here comes a concussion grenade though. Maxes rush in. Let's see if the Fury can take out. No! The Max just rushes through, takes out the Flash driver, runs into cover behind the Flash for reload. And fights against the TR Max. Who's gonna win? TR Max goes down. MCY Max, it's still up. It has like 10 hit points or something. And MCY retakes the point. Absolutely amazing. Never seen anything like that. Like that flash right there, and the Max just rushes for him. It's
especially at this level. I mean, let alone that they can't capture the middle base in the next half. I mean, it's pretty much an uphill battle. I mean, huge, steeply uphill battle for Ini. But like I was saying, I think it's been like a mix of a lot of really odd decisions and missed timings on the part of Ini. Because as soon as MCY put pressure on this point and was able to rotate most of the forces inside the building, Ini just happened to pull air. When, 10 minutes ago, Ini should have been pulling air. But as I said, here's a heavy push on point.
Yeah, here comes a really heavy push. We've got Pounder Maxes. Good old Pounder Max. Yeah, and Ini is pushing MCY off the point. 30 seconds left to spare. And they did it. 30 seconds. Now, can MCY bring in anything? Do they have a spawn point? They don't have a beacon. They don't have a galaxy. They don't have a Sunderer. Now, for Ini, I see one Mosquito that just went down. That was kind of scouting ahead. Sad that they had to lose it like this. They've got one Liberator and a lot of Mossies. I don't actually see a galaxy of theirs. Where's their galaxy?
The Ini Elite Galaxy parked in the southeast. I think he's trying to avoid combat. I'm not sure what they're doing. He kind of parked in the no man's land, and there's one pilot in it, and he's doing nothing. So he dropped off his guys and pulled back.
We've got an Ini Liberator heading for the MCY Galaxy right now. Oh, and he actually bumps into it, gets flipped, and the two of them are not quite sure where the ground is anymore. And the Liberator actually gets destroyed.
No, yeah, and right away you could tell that Ini did learn from their first half start. I mean, they're committing much more to the air this time.
Oh, much more. Like, I actually see way more Mossies than I see MCY Reavers right now. MCY actually with what seems to be only 3 Reavers left and the Galaxy. On the other hand, one Liberator and another Reaver coming in for MCY. On the other hand, you've got Ini with 6 Mossies and a Liberator completely dominating the air right now. They're also bringing in a Sunderer on the southern point, as well as 2 Prowlers and 3 Skyguards. Yet again, they love their Skyguards today on the southern edge of Chimney Rock Depot. And no one's actually taking that point properly yet.
No, Ini. Ini has 4 people on point.
Oh, Ini has people, yeah, I see.
Yeah. But the difference was Ini was much more committed. Like, I saw those guys, they were basically up into the air until they couldn't fight anymore, and then they ejected. It wasn't one of those where they eject right away, because like you're pointing out in the first half, you have like a free 2 minutes on the cap point.
And the Sundra, and they've got the point right now. They've got their Maxes on the point. Ini actually has their Lightnings and their Prowlers around the point, as well as 2 Sundras. One of them just got blown up. And MCY just sitting on the point and holding it while Ini tries to shoot them out of there with tanks.
Yeah, but without local spawns, it's only a matter of time until MCY gets wiped out.
Yeah.
So it's if anything, it's just a delay mechanism on their part.
Well, MCY does have 2 spawn beacons to the northeast as well as a Sundra. Sundra is a bit further away, so they've got a bit of a trot there, and they can't very easily get over those hills unless they're Light Assaults, meaning their squad composition is a little blocked right now. But on the other hand, they just destroyed both Sundras of Ini. Another Ini Sundra comes in, but that one's probably going to get C4 in the smoke very quickly too.
Yep, and here comes a counterattack with 2 Vanguards and
Yeah,
and
from
MCY
behind,
Skyguard.
from behind on that Sundra Skyguard and the Prowler especially. Vanguard shield for the win. Here comes an Ini man. He's throwing down anti-vehicle mines behind the Vanguard. But the Vanguard's still going for it. He's gonna... and he gets blown up.
Yep, that was a bit of a
Driver
bump of cars right there.
And MCY still on that point. And that was the thing. It was what we were talking about in the first half. Ini jumped on the point first, counted down the first 2 minutes, you know, from the neutral base. And then now the last 2 minutes, MCY just did a full-on push, took the point, and now they only have to wait 2 minutes on the point.
Yeah, and with the presence that Ini has, it's really amazing that MCY is actually able to get maxes and people on point.
Yeah, it's
In
crazy.
fact, they're sneaking right by Ini.
And right now MCY has pretty much 2 squads on the ground there. They've got Maxes. They don't really care about Ini's 1 Prowler. And, okay, Ini put down a spawn beacon, but that's not gonna live for long because, you know, MCY obviously sees it. But here comes Ini dropping in pretty much an entire squad while MCY smokes the entire building from the outside.
Yeah, and this is the mistake that Ini did in the first half, where they just didn't put enough infantry pressure on point. It's well and good to control the outside, but you really have to put pressure on point.
Yeah, and right now Ini doesn't seem to be able to do that because the MCY, they are showing us why this is called Chimney Rock, because there's that much smoke, pardon the pun, and Ini has to rush through it, and they're trying to, but I just see like a lot of normal infantry here. I see no maxes again, and you just can't counter those NC maxes with just heavies. That's not working. That's not working at all.
Oh, this could be it. This could be it. This could very well be the match.
Yeah, oh, but they managed to neutralize the point. They neutralized it, but MCY is still very, very strong on the point. Can Ini keep up the offensive? They're in there! They're in there! Comes a revive grenade from Ini, and they're all up! They took the point, and they're flipping it back! 15 seconds before the base was captured. Wow, that was close. But MCY still got, they still got that spawn those 2 spawn beacons, which seem to be getting attacked by Ini Mossies right now, though. Yeah, one of them got taken out, and they lost their Sundra, so MCY kicked out of the base. Now they need to counterattack. They need to counterattack quick, because if they can take the point back, it's only 1 minute for them to capture the whole base.
Right, and this is where a lot of outfits make the mistake of, yes, they have the point, they feel comfortable, but they overcommit to infantry. Now they need to pull air, now they need to pull armor, and make the approach to this base hell for MCY. Make them pay for every inch that they try to approach this base. This is where you really want combined arms. You put maybe like 6 people on point, let them sit there.
Goes in there and starts shooting. Oh, and here's C4. Is he going to blow the lightning up with C4? Do it. Do it. Ugh, lightning goes down, but we've got a Vanguard. Vanguard can't get a good angle on the building, though, inside of the building. 30 seconds to go. Ini's losing Sundras left and right. Yep, both Sundras
huge
blew
amount
up.
of pressure from MCY.
Both Sundras blew up. Still got we've got a Reaver landing on the building. We've got the Vanguard and MCY just pushing in. 15 seconds on the timer. 2 Vanguards, lots and lots of infantry. Point is still in Ini's hand. Ini's got the spawn beacon up. Ini just dropping in now. They got it.
Do it.
5 seconds. 5 seconds on the timer. Ini's still heavily in there. 2 seconds on the timer. 2 seconds on the timer. 1 second on the timer. 0 seconds. Woo! 2-2-2. For Ini, they captured Chimney Rock, and Mercenaries takes the building 2 seconds too late, and this means Ini can just spawn at the spawn room and kick them back out again.
Wow, that's about as close as it gets, because you said it right, literally few seconds difference.
2 seconds, just 2 seconds.
It's not looking good, but either way, they have to go. They have to push.
It's not looking good for
no
MCY though. MCY is only have about half a squad on the point right now. And here comes Inni. Here comes the MP grenade. All the shields go down. Inni Maxes rush in. 5 seconds on the timer. You need more than just Maxes, guys. You need more than just Maxes.
Wow.
1 second. MCY takes the point. 4-2. 4-2. And MCY actually kicked Inni out of the room while they were at it. Revive grenades go up. MCY still up. Got a few people in there. Inni pushing as hard as they can, but they just don't have the spawn points. Inni still on the point. Inni still trying to get the point. Couldn't get it. MCY on the point. 4-2. We just saw the first ever same base back cap at the same time in the community clash.
And the most impressive thing was they basically did it with 2 spawn beacons.
They did it with 2 spawn beacons, and then the greatest thing is that both times we had an outfit capture it while another outfit tried to rush it with 2 seconds remaining.
That's gotta be incredibly frustrating for any elite, because I'm pretty sure they were whooping and having a good time saying we got it, and to lose it like that.
Absolutely amazing. And that's still 30 minutes left.
All right, so there you have it. That's it. The EU finals concluded. What a match there, Will.
I know, right? That is the 4-2 Mercenaries takes it. That's our first non-shutout match.
Thank goodness. I was thinking we were just going to see zeros throughout, but what a match that was. And like you said, it was a coin flip. Could have went either way, man.
Definitely, and it's a game of seconds. You know, you see what Mercenaries gets there just a second too late on that 1 base cap, and he gets it. It's 2-2. And then Inni can't knock him off in time, and Mercenaries goes up 4-2. It's just, it's so close there. It was such a hard-fought match. Mercenaries able to come out on top in the end, but I think if they replayed it, it could go the other way, you know?
Very true, very true. I mean, very talented team there, and Mercenaries, of course, congratulations to them. They are going to the World Final. They won the EU Finals there, and again, it was a fantastic match. I mean, anything else, though? Any other takeaways, really, from that one? You know, besides how close it was, did any team, or I should say in the instance of Mercenaries, what was that thing that just tipped them over? Was it really just the fact that their timing was that much better than any?
I think it had to do with energy bridges being, you know, so strong and taking out tanks from behind the lines. Now that, in case you didn't see it in the clips there, but an Infiltrator actually did hack an energy bridge at one point and take out a few vehicles. But as far as Mercenaries being the victor here, I think their game plan was the one that, you know, they were able to adapt better as circumstances continued, you know, throughout the match. They kept Inni on the defensive. They had the right combination of the air, the ground, and of course their infantry was very strong. They were able to enact their will on their opponent.
Okay, interesting stuff there. Of course, guys, that is going to lead to the World Finals, where we are going to have a battle, if you say so. Dasanfall representing the United States and Mercenaries on the European side. The action will take place 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/PlanetSide2. And I am very excited for this matchup. I think it's going to be great. Will, I got to ask you, you know, whenever I cast, right, and this is always like a cop-out. It's like, you know, hey, man, give me your predictions, right? I got to ask you right now, man. What are your predictions?
This is my crystal ball.
Crystal ball of predictions. What do you think, man?
You know, this is another one that could go either way, right? I'm not going to take the cop out here and say, oh, I can go either way. It's 50-50, you know. It will depend on how the air battle goes. I'm going to say that. But I do think Mercenaries is going to come out on top. I prefer Mercenaries, and that's basically because I prefer Mercenary style to Dasanfall's. I feel like Mercenaries is the guy who comes barging in, boom, they knock the door down, they're in your face. Yeah. Dasanfall is a little bit more relaxed, maybe a little bit more laid back. They kind of, like I said earlier, they come from like the way you're not expecting. They come in the back door. They're coming from the hill. You didn't see them up there, and then all of a sudden they're on your flank. They kind of do that, and they're both good styles. Both teams are very good at all aspects of the game: the air, the ground, the vehicles, everything. I think it's just that Mercenaries is kind of going to be a little bit, what's the word? You know, kind of harder, like a hard edge to it when it hits you that hard. When it's like that kind of that jarring style that they have, I think is going to win out.
Well, I feel like for me personally, I'm going to have to go with Dasanfall purely because I feel like, yeah, you could talk about that hard-hitting style, but we're talking about two distinct kind of approaches, right, from how we see both of these teams play. So I think we could potentially, I mean, it's going to be a great game either way.
Oh, yeah.
But I've always been a fan of just, I like the all-out rush, when you just zerg your opponent. I love that kind of stuff. But at the same time, though, I've seen a lot of teams, when we used to do the War Report with Jax a while ago, they would go for that approach, which is just like all-out rush, and then they would end up just getting caught off guard by, some next-gen tactics. So, I don't know. It could go either way, man. You're right.
Yeah, that could,
100%.
Definitely, I could definitely see that happening,
Yeah,
you come in the front door and all of a sudden there's C4 on the door and you're dead, right? So,
yeah, right? There you go, right? The tricky play. So, of course, guys, we're going to see how all that unfolds next week. But if you guys want to get more involved with the PlanetSide 2 Community Clash, you can go to ps2comclash.com. You can learn a little bit more about it, watch the VODs. You can get caught up with the community. I think it's a great event, and I'm really glad to see people really stepping up and doing something awesome for the PlanetSide 2 community. Also, if you want to get into PlanetSide 2, you're watching this, you're like, man, that gameplay looked really, really cool there. I want to play PlanetSide 2. Well, good news, my friend. PlanetSide 2 is free. All you got to do is go to planetside2.com. You can also go to Steam and download PlanetSide 2. It's free. Have some fun. Join the NC. That's the way that the PlanetSide 2 gods would have wanted it.
NC, what? No.
But with that said, though, guys, for Win, myself, and all the production crew at the back, we will see you guys next time here on the War Report.